everybody, and welcome back once again to Let's Play Skyrim. Last time we left off, we found our way to the statue of Meridia. Bit of a diversion because we were initially going to release Thorald from Thalma custody, but yes, we diverted our attention to killing an evil necromancer on behalf of Meridia, and as a result of doing that, we get ourselves a rather alluring weapon. There's just something about the shimmering light in the hilt of the blade that just draws me in. Anyway, enough about that. We came back here to the Winking Skeever, rented a room from the innkeeper Corpulus, and we sat down here, where we find ourselves this morning with a bit of a hangover. You see, Elwynn was determined to break out the spiced wine that he'd earned from assisting Yvette in the market stall. He removed the bottle from his satchel, was about to pour it into a cup when the innkeeper came back after escorting him to his room, raised a palm as if to stop Elwynn in his tracks, and then swiped up the bottle and made out of the room. Well, let's just say that Elwynn was close to blasting him in the back for daring to steal his spiced wine. However, Corpulus simply beckoned Elwynn to follow. And as he walked downstairs to the improper, he explained that spiced wine was not to be drunk cold. No, no, no. Only people that don't know about spiced wine drink spiced wine cold, he said. He proceeded then to pour the contents of the wine bottle into a pot, and he placed it over the cooking fire, thus warming it through. Once warm, he placed it into a cup, finished it off with a couple of slices of red apple, and asked Elwynn to sample it as it should be tasted. Well, let's just say the taste sensation was all it was cracked up to be. Orange zest, nutmeg, cinnamon, and other such secret spices that Yvette wouldn't divulge, but let's just say it was a taste sensation. All the better for being warm and served with some apple. Well, the bottle of spiced wine didn't last too long, and before he knew it, Elwynn and Berlina, who didn't like spiced wine, but that was no matter, because it meant it was more for Elwynn, but the two of them became a little bit drunk, shall we say. And the Winking Skeever was subjected to a little bit of, well, out-of-tune singing as Elwynn and Berlina did a duet of Dragonborn Comes and Ragnar the Red and other such local favourites. But let's just say they won't be putting the bard out of business. So yes, it was a rather pleasant evening, but the most important part of the evening in terms of what we're going to do today occurred when the singing had finished. So you see, quite the crowd had gathered to watch Berlina and Elwynn butchering local favourites. The only entertainment value being comedy value.
You know you can afford a septim or two.
But Elwynn eventually got sat down. By now he was on his sort of 5th or 6th cup of wine, and got speaking to the head tutor at the Bard's College.
Let me know if you see anything you like.
Viamo was his name, I think. Anyway, he proceeded to explain to Elwynn that people of the Solitude were being denied this year the opportunity to experience joviality and drinking of spiced wine because the Jarl had outlawed a rather famous festival.
Viren said you got here just... Take a look.
And that should Elwynn decide to want to assist a fellow college in need, that he should return tomorrow and speak with him. I'm going to sell my weapons at the blacksmith. I think I will sell everything but the weapons, and a rather... Oh, this could perhaps be the bull that Elwynn had taken from the inn, which he the spiced wine was put in to cook over the fire. He does not know he drank too much. Some of yesterday's events are nothing but a blur. Right, we've got a couple of soul gems which we'll give to Berlina, together with some other gems to use for our jewellery making. Do we have any poisons that we could perhaps get rid of? No. Okay, well, I suppose we'll get rid of certain things. I'm not too bothered about the 10% bonus here. We'll keep the gold jewellery. We'll get rid of the leather helmet, the necromancer robes, scale braces, and the silver stuff. 503 left. Dwarven arrows. And Imperial bow and sword, Orcish mace, steel arrow, staff of chain lightning, again for Berlina's attention. Okay.
Come back to bits and pieces anytime.
I'm right behind you. I'm a mage, not a pawnbroker, you know.
So she has a Daedric arrow, which she should have infinite arrows when she uses them. She has the Sanguine Rose to conjure Fluffy, should she so desire it. And now she's going to have another staff at her command here. She's going to take the staff of chain lightning, although she should be careful where she wields it, because wield it when I'm too close and I could suffer the consequences. But we'll trust her with it. She might even use it purposefully to give us a shock, to get some revenge for all the fireballs we've hurled into the back of her head.
You lead.
Anyway, so after waking up this morning with a rather sore head, Elwynn did remember a few choice bits of the conversation that it did have with Viamo, and thus, this morning, bright and early, he's going to head to the Bard's College to try and find out a bit more about this so-called festival, which he wants us to assist in getting reinstated, which is no doubt going to involve trying to persuade the Jarl.
If you're heading to the Blue Palace, you might want to...
Call it one head of a college helping another. So Thorald will have to wait in custody a little bit longer. He's waited for how many days? Shall we see? Let me see here. How many days have passed? General statistics. Days passed. 101. What's that? 3 months? 3 and a bit months? He's waited 3 and a bit months in Thalmor custody. I'm sure a couple more days or so won't make a massive difference. So, yeah. We're going to seek out Viamo. Ah, here he is.
Welcome to Solitude, home at... I generally don't involve myself in politics. Good tales deal with the issues of the day, but a wise bard remains a neutral observer.
And that's where I come in, apparently? Is this a conversation they had yesterday?
Yes, according to Giraud, our history's keeper, the portion of the Edda dealing with King Olaf might still exist in Dead Man's Respit. I need you to retrieve the poem.
Right. So what is the poetic Edda?
I think Giraud here would give you the best explanation of both it and the history of King Olaf's verse. You should speak to him about it.
Okay, and why exactly has the festival been forbidden?
As you may be aware, Elisif's husband, High King Torrig, was recently killed. Elisif mourns her husband deeply, and she feels that a festival that burns a king in effigy is distasteful. I tried to convince her the festival is many centuries old and celebrates solitude, but I need proof. I believe King Olaf's verse will provide that proof.
Okay. It's fine with me.
I wish you luck in finding the verse.
So, in carrying on the conversation from last night, it appears that we need to find...
Hello, yeah.
Ah, he's the person we need to speak to. Whatever, pal. I'm trying to get my... Here we go. Tending the flames. We need to go and find King Olaf's verse. apparently I've applied at the Bard's College. Part of the application process wants me to bring King Olaf's verse. Of course, we're not applying to be a full-time member. More like an honorary member. Like people become honorary doctors and things like that. It's just an honorary thing. But anyway...
Dean of History and scribe work when I can find some quiet time.
I need to speak with you.
Good to meet a prospective bard.
Viamo said you could tell me about the Poetic Edda.
He's sending you after King Olaf's verse then. That's good. We shouldn't leave it lying around now that I figured out where it is. The verse was Svaknir's contribution to the Poetic Edda, the living history of Skyrim. Each bard adds to the Edda in his or her time.
Okay, so King Olaf's verse is a lost part of the Edda?
And a very ancient one. The verse criticized the reigning King Olaf. He was so incensed the bard was put to death and all the copies burned. At least, that's what we thought until I translated some ancient texts a year or so ago. We now believe King Olaf buried the truth with the bard. If I'm right, Svaknir and King Olaf's verse lie in Dead Men's Respit, along with the burial chamber of King Olaf himself.
Wow. Well, I've always been partial to a bit of history. Thank you.
Be careful. You might find more than just King Olaf's verse in Dead Man's Respite.
Yes, I have a feeling I may found some kind of foul beings. I shall be back with the verse. Come, Berlina, we have our mission for the day. So, as we check our map, I suppose. Once I get my bearings here, it's tending the flames. Here we are. It's all the way down here. Dead Man's Respite. Ah, not that far. Yes, we are foregoing the Gauldr legend, foregoing Wolf Skull Cave and rescuing Thorald. Yes, we're foregoing all of that to try and reinstate this festival. We could all do with a bit of light-hearted fun in our lives right now. All this seriousness, it's getting too much. But anyway, we need to go due south, so we've got a long journey ahead of us, but we'll take our time, get to experience the area properly, because we haven't really explored. We've come straight here, and apart from that we haven't explored the hold, which I rather incorrectly called the Solitude hold, I think, in the last session, when in fact, after doing a quick bit of research, I think the hold is actually called Hafingar. Is that right? Anyway, Solitude is the capital city. Of course, Whiterun is the capital of Whiterun, and Winterhold is the capital of Winterhold. But this particular area has a different hold name than the city that it's its capital. So yes, I stand corrected on that little fact. Well, on we go. Now we're gonna, by the looks of it, if I check my map again, there appears to be no obvious signs of how to get across here without having to traipse through water. There is a bridge actually that actually I could be mistaken. There might just be a couple of bridges. But apparently this is the... oh, the name escapes me. The River Calf! Yes, this is the River Calf, I believe. Again, another rather useless fact, I suppose, but it's amazing what you learn when you do some reading. Now, do I want to go to the bridge? Or do I simply want to go directly across the water? At the risk of getting wet, of course, which is never a good thing, but for the purposes of saving time, I love that view. I really do. Natural archway spanning across the River Calf on which Solitude sits. There we go, straight over. The easiest and quickest way is to dive. Oh, is Just to not break your legs diving off this rock just yet, but it's to dive into the water and head across. It's a pity we can't nip in the boat and sail across. It would be a lot easier. Oh well. What the hell is going on? Oh my god, I've actually inadvertently splashed into the river. Well, that's a rather unfortunate turn of events. Oh! Slaughterfish. What's that? What is Berlina doing? Apparently there is a ritual stone near here. And a hut. Should we get diverted? It's like a rather intriguing little area, this, isn't it? It's just like a bit of swampland. Oh. In fact, we've got quite a few map markers here. I think the ritual stone is just going to be over here. Literally right upon us any minute now.